Good morning everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here from Visualized DNZ. I just wanted to firstly say I am sorry for the state of my cutting mat. I've noticed watching back a few of my videos that it looks disgusting, and it pretty much is. It's well used, well loved, very marked, very cut. It is what it is, and they're not that cheap to buy, or not cheap at all to buy, so this has still got life in it, so you're just going to have to put up with the painty, stained, gluey, cut mess. What can I say? It's been well used. Okay, so today I'm going to do some work in my Junk Journal July journal. I haven't done any for a couple of days. I was a bit thrown off with having my fall on Sunday, so I didn't even get Sundays posted. So I'm just going to do a quick flip through from what I've done since the last video on this, which I think was day 8, which was wallpaper. So if I flick through, so this was the wallpaper page. And I better grab out my list so I remember what the topics are. My lovely handwritten list. I don't like my handwriting, so I don't think it's that lovely. It's very rough. Okay, so that was day 8, which I did on camera. This was day 9, which is clashing patterns. So I just took a whole lot of scrap papers. So there's some digital printout, some jelly print, lots of scrapbooking papers. There's another digital printout, another jelly print. Yeah, so most are scrapbook papers, and I just punched them with a square punch, collaged them together, a bit like a patchwork, wrote a quote that I really liked on it from, can't remember the name of the song, is it Melting Pot? Might be. Anyway, great big melting pot, big enough to take the world into all it's got. And I just thought they represented the can't even get the words out, all the different styles and colours and textures and things going on in the world, but also within our art. I just finished off with a bit of decoration, another clashing pattern with this check bit of fabric trim here. So that was day 9. Day 10 was time out, and I wasn't really in the mood this day, so I'm not happy with this page. I had a really good idea for it, and then it just didn't come out how I wanted. So it's all a bit of a mess really. I'm not even going to discuss it. We'll move on. The next day was fussy cutting, and I really like this page, how it turned out. So lots of fussy cut things. I did a bit of collaging in the back just with neutrals, and then everything else is fussy cut. So there's a fussy cut stamped label, a stamped ticket, a stamped label with a word stamped inside it, a stamped arrow, a stamped key, a stamped label with a bird stamped in it, a stamped ticket, and then a couple of fussy cut flowers that were printed out from the kit from Artsology. Sorry, I just had to look at my notes to make sure I got the right one. I should know it by now by heart, but anyway, they're from Artsology, and they were the ones that printed without the cyan, so I thought they were nice to include there. The next day, so we're up to day 12, was dyed. So I just used lots of different pieces of my dyed paper. So there's eco dyed, coffee dyed, and then I did it in a wee flip. So there's that same bit of coffee dyed the other side, and then some turmeric dyed, and then there's some lace here. Just a little flippy, clustery thing. So the top one is dyed with ink, and the bottom one is dyed with paint. It was left over from doing a jelly print, so it's got some paint on it. And just a little bit of fussy cutting to decorate, and a label from Artsology. The next day was mirrored, so this is day 13. And I created a little like mirror out of tin foil, gave it a frame, and just put a quote and some butterflies on it. Nice and simple. Didn't take me too long. Nature was day 14. So I had this magazine with beautiful watercolour illustrations in it, which I just love. So I used illustrations from 3 different pages. So there's these purple flowers and berries, this leaf border that was right round one page, and then these tea leaves. They're actually tea leaves, fussy cut from another page. Then this title was out of my nature book that I've been cutting up, and I just thought that was really good to use there. Some music sheet paper, and then I just hand drew some flowers and a frame. So that was nature page, and I really enjoyed that page too. The next page, day 15, is texture, and I really enjoyed this one as well. I did some oil pastels, which I hadn't used before, or at least for a while, I can't remember. Just in blues and greens, so I did that in the background. Then I stuck down some bits of doily, some textured handmade paper that's been sewn. It's out of a pack, so it's not one I've made. And then I layered it up with a label, a word, this fussy cut butterfly, and then added in a bit more of the oil pastel over top. And I really enjoy that. I think it's very pretty. And I did some mark making as well, just these little dashes here and there to add some visual texture. Okay, next page is one-sided. This one-sided is the prompt, and so I just used one side of a postcard, which is a printable from Weathered Textures on Etsy. I did a rubbing, which you won't be able to pick up in the camera, but that circle is a rubbing of an old coin from 1972. So that, and it's a memorial coin. It's not a regular currency coin. And then I had this illustration of a fly out of my nature book, so I just cut that in half to use half of the illustration, and then this profile picture out of an encyclopedia, because that's one side of her face. So just a cluster, and then I left some writing space in there as well. And then this is the last one that I've done, which was Sunday's prompt, day 17. And the prompt was go-to palette. Now, I don't really have a go-to palette. I love any and all colours. So it took me a while to think what to do, and I came up with this idea of, it's on the atlas page or map page, so that's what's in the background. Came out with the idea of doing like a palette kind of shape, and there's the thumb hole I cut out there. And then I've got this paint catalogue that my friend gave me. Hi Carol. So I cut out all the little, well not all, but a lot of the little swatches in just a variety of colours and glued them on my palette. And the palette is made from a stamp off sheet, so it's got lots of colours on it as well. And this was also the favourite hues that was also in the paint catalogue. So I put a question mark after it and put some question marks dotted around just to represent that I don't really have a go-to palette. I just have whatever suits, whatever mood I'm in, whatever base thing I'm working with, whether it be an image or a background, is what colours do that page dictate or that item dictate. So that's that page. So the next one, 18, so this will be Monday's prompt that I'm doing today, which is Wednesday, is cut out. So I've got an idea for it, and I'm going to take a few pages to do this one. This is the middle of my journal, so it'll still leave me plenty of pages to work in for the rest of the month. And I've got my big hole punch here that I was given, and I'm going to just take some bites out of this, and this will be my cutout part. Some bites out of this page. I'm not sure whether I'm going to get 2 or 3 in one. I don't think I'm going to get 3, so I'm going to go up the top. There we go, there's my 2 cutouts. They can be used for something else. And what I want to do with this is I want to back it with vellum. Sorry, it's not vellum, it's tracing paper. So I'm going to I'm going to back that with that, so that there's they're see-through, and I'm going to put pictures in behind there. So first I'm going to mark around the inside of those circles so I know where to place my images, because I am going to cut those out as well. So I need to make sure I line them up nicely. Oops. Paper's quite thin, so it's hard to draw against the edge of it without going off. Okay. And this pencil line will be under, I hope, the picture I stick in. So there we go. Yep, so I can see that. Okay, I have to show you these. It's quite funny. Years and years and years ago, when I was doing lots of paper crafting and collage and things, I harvested numerous magazines. Like, when I say numerous, I mean probably in the hundreds. And I created these bags. So I've got people, animals, all very organised I was back then. Nature, which is a huge, heavy, big one. Lots in that. And objects. Hopefully you can see that in the camera and not without the glare. And I thought I had actually thrown them out when I was having a clean out and reorganisation a few years back. But I found them in the office, in the home office, yesterday. And when I was sitting thinking this morning what I was going to do for this prompt, I was like, I know what I can use. They're already cut out, either rectangle or fussy cut. And I've got these. I had a look through because I didn't want to spend time looking through on camera because I thought they would take forever. Because this is a map page, I wanted something that represented travel. So I've got these 3 images. So there's a guard from Buckingham Palace, a Scottish bagpiper, and a Maori warrior. So I've only got 2, so I'll just have a wee look. And I did punch a circle and make sure that these were the right size for the cutout. So I have already done that, but I just want to sit them in place and see what they look like. I know which ones I'm thinking will work best. Or not necessarily best, but which I want, which make more sense to me. The map is from, I think, Canada. I think. Although some of the names look US, so I'm not sure. But I'm thinking these 2 images are both from Great Britain. So they might pair nicely together rather than the Maori warrior, which is a whole half a world away, really. And I chose male images just because I thought that was quite nice. I don't often work with male images. So I am going to punch those out and use these 2. So I'm just going to slide out the plastic cover on the bottom so I can see properly. So I can line it up nicely. Hopefully you can see that. I do a lot of punching upside down because it makes it so much easier to see what you're doing. There's our guard, whoops, not the Maori warrior, and the Scottish bagpipist. So there's not a lot of room around him. You know, I want to make sure I get enough to give the idea that he's actually blowing on a bagpipe. Oops. Come on, there we go. Right, so I've cut those out. So I don't think I'll be needing that again. Right, now I'm going to stick these on. Actually, do I want to back something on this page? If I do that, then I'll lose my circles. Maybe I'll stick them down and then I might do something else around them. We'll see. So how is everyone today? Hope you're having a wonderful day. It is Wednesday here when I'm filming this, and husband is again dealing with short-staffed at his work, so he worked late last night, was really tired by the time we got home, and he went in early this morning, so hopefully he'll be able to leave on time tonight, but we'll see. He prefers to stay on and get things a bit sort of under control. It makes the next day a bit easier on him, especially with such short on numbers. So I understand it's easier that way. Just means some of our meals have been a bit late. But yeah, so hopefully your day is going well, and I hope his is also. I've already heard from him this morning to say that the person who's away with COVID, he must have been away 2 weeks now, is still away again today. Yep, you can see a little bit of the page behind, but not worried about that. So that's pretty good. I'm going to stick this on here, so it needs taking down a bit. I'm not sure what I'm going to use to stick this with yet. Maybe staple it. I don't know. I can't just glue all over it. Although I suppose I could put something behind the holes, catch any glue spill over. Maybe that would work. Now before I do that, yeah, I quite like that. I think that's quite nice. Just thinking. Sorry, I'm not using my words because I was busy thinking. I wonder if I can just ink around that a little bit just to define it. I was thinking about adding a frame, and then it's like, oh, I can't be bothered mucking around creating round frames for them. So ink seems to be working okay. Just got to be careful because I don't want to rip my holes. It'd be really disappointing to have to try and think of what I could do to fix that. So just being very gentle. Right, I'm not going to glue these pages together either. I'm going to leave them open. So I can take my glue page, and because it's already got glue on it, I'm just going to fold it in half. And where do I need to go to? So I put that right against the edge. Oh, it's not straight, but roughly there. Terribly interesting gluing, isn't it? It takes a bit of thought sometimes to get it where you need it when you're working with difficult spaces like this. So hopefully I've put glue in the right spaces. Take that right to the edge, so I've got no glue on that edge. That's going to be a problem. Right, and I'm just going to rub along that edge just to wipe up any glue I may have gone outside of where I've put the tracing paper down. Don't want my pages sticking together. I want to be able to see through the windows, but also see the images without the cloudiness of the tracing paper. That's my thinking behind that. Okay. Now what else would I like to do to this page? I feel like I need to do something in here. Maybe some writing space. And I've got this scrap from a very old map. It's some islands, I'm not even sure where, somewhere in New Zealand. It's really lovely and aged and old. So if I put the scrap of that down for writing space, round about there. So this was in a bag of maps that a friend gave me when her father was downsizing. So some of them aren't so old, but this one I think may have been one of the oldest, and I just love it. It's super cool, and I'm getting through it quite rapidly. going to bring that out there so I've got room. Another wee scrap, and it's quite soft paper too actually. Just when I was ripping that it was, you could tell. So do I use the right side of it or the wrong side, because they're both discoloured, and it's got this little age spot here of whatever that was. I think I'll use the right side because it's just got that little bit extra colour to it. So I have got my glue book on the right hand side this morning because I've moved the camera even closer to me. So if I get too carried away, I am totally going to knock the camera and you guys for a 6. So I'm trying very carefully to monitor my movements so I don't make you all seasick or something, or totally upset the video. I don't want to start again. Right, so how's that looking? Right, do I want to do anything in here? Thinking maybe a label. What sort of label? Got some old apothecary labels, which I think I've buried here on the chair beside me. I'm just having a wee hunt for them. Oh dear, I've totally buried them. Sorry, I'll be back in a jiffy if I can find them. No, I cannot see them. Okay, I'll have to go for plan B and go through my folder of labels. I've got these apothecary labels which were freebies online. Can't tell you where because I printed them off and then closed out, which was a super silly thing to do. I think, do I want to centre it? Maybe I want to go in between like that. Actually, I like that. I'm going to put it in between them. It covers over the circles slightly, but I'm not worried about that. I think that gives it just a different look. Stick that about there. So hopefully one day I'll refine these labels so I can attribute where I got them from and print them out again, because they're quite good, and I do like a good freebie. Sorry, a bit sloopy there on my cup of coffee. Right, how are we going for time? About 25 minutes I've been going, I think, if I recorded the time right. Right, I feel like I need to do something in here as well. What can I do in here? Really need something about travel. So I'll go to my this will be good. It's a stamped ticket. I don't know whether it's British sort of inspired, but it kind of sounds to me like it's British. So because these two guys are from Great Britain, I'm going to go with this one. And I'm trying to think what else, if anything, I want to add to this page. Do I want more writing space? Possibly. Might need to grab back that old map again. Or do I want to do something more decorative? I wish you could tell me what you think. What would you do with this page? Oops, I put a piece of paper on my rubbish bin and now I can't put things in my rubbish. So I'll move that. What would you do if this was your page? How would you decorate it or deal with it? Because I didn't get as far as thinking about what I was going to do. Yep, so again I'm just going to put that in the middle. And this is quite stiff paper, so I'm going to use wet glue, my good old tacky glue. And this is going to spill out. I know I've been a bit heavy-handed. Okay, sorry, and that was completely off camera. But I was just gluing, so you know, not the end of the world. Just using a dry wet wipe, which is totally an oxymoron, but nonetheless true. Right, oops, sorry, I think I just knocked the camera with my foot, or the tripod that's holding the camera. Okay, I think I do want to strip down there just to, and that will balance it up with the other page. And I'm going to use the bit that's got the stripe down it, which is a border, because I think that's fine. Now I've almost buried my ruler as well, because I've got very limited space on my desk. I'm using the chair next to me, which is my husband's armchair. So before he gets home every night, I've got to make sure I've cleared it all off, and there's a coffee table as well in between and sort of behind me, so I've got to make sure I've uncluttered that as well, because otherwise it tends to get a bit avalanchy when he's trying to reach things. So yeah, it's time consuming working from a space in the lounge where I've got to try and keep things as tidy as possible. It's okay during the day when I'm home alone. Right, so some glue on that. So I do post photos of these on the closed Facebook group that I have for this channel, which is Visual Vibes. So if you're interested in popping along and joining that, then you're more than welcome. I also post them on Instagram, although I need to catch up on that too, because I didn't get round to posting Sunday's one either. That looks like I've only tied one knot. I'm going to give that another knot there. Just looking at it going, that doesn't look like I've tied enough knots to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. There we go. Okay, I'm happier with that page now. It's quite plain, but I think I can live with that because it's all about these cutouts, which is the prompt. Feel like I need something decorative. Just grabbing out my bag of strips and seeing if there's anything I might like. Got this bit of card that's had some shapes punched out of it. Sorry about the noise of the bag. It would be alright, except the butterfly's upside down. I'm going to go with it anyway. It's only a junk journal. It doesn't matter, does it? Oops. Blue bubble. So just to finish off that page, and also because these are cutouts, they go with the topic. I'll bring it in front of the camera, might be a good idea. Right. So they're utilising cutouts in more than one way. So that makes me happy too. So I'm going to put the date, which is the 20th today. 20th of the 7th of 22. And I'm calling that done. So that's my cutout page. So where have I put my list? Have we got time to do another page? Here it is. So I can tick cutout, tucked away. Okay, this is yesterday's prompt, is tucked away, day 19. So I think I can quickly come up with something for tucked away. She says as she's like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm thinking something just quite simple. Actually, I wonder if there's an image I can use in one of these bags. If I can find something quickly that might tie in a little bit with the map page on the opposite side that we just did. Looks like Thailand or somewhere like that. So bear with me for a moment. A cruise ship. Oh, what about a big tomato? No, it's not a big tomato. It's a sunset or a sunrise with a plane. Actually, that could be good, because that's travel related. And circle, so it kind of ties in with the cutouts on the other side. So this is magazine paper, slightly thicker magazine paper, but I think I'm going to back it just to give it some more stability, because I'm going to turn it into a tuck spot. You may even get, whoops, I got glue all over the front of it. May even get to today's prompt if I can get this one done quickly. Ooh, that's really messy. I need a wet one, I think, to help. Yep, that's better. It's not very wet. I was using it yesterday to clean up my ink off my stamps, and I just keep it in a drinking glass with a little dish that I use for my medications on top, so it stops it drying out too quickly. But it is getting a bit still a little damp, but yeah, not as damp as what it was. But if I had left it out, then it would be totally dry overnight. So it just preserves them so I can use them a bit longer and get as much out of using them as I can, so that I don't use so many. Oops, there's another bit of glue. Just while I can see it in the light, I'm going to take care of that. And I've got another drinking glass beside that one that holds things like my scissors and pen and things. So that's the noise you can hear when I'm putting scissors and stuff away, is going into the drinking glass. Because my art desk has got little compartments hanging off the side, and 2 of them are just the right size. I specifically bought glasses from a second-hand shop with a base that would fit in the circle holders on the side of the desk. And they work really well, but they are a little bit noisy. Right, I'm going to tuck that down the bottom. I'm feeling like I want to do a bit of stenciling just to decorate that up a bit. So I'll grab out my folder of stencils. Try not to hit the camera or myself or anything. What design I might like. I've got handmade stencils, I've got die cut waste that I use as stencils, I've got ones that I've bought off AliExpress or eBay, and I've got cake decorating ones. Maybe I'll go for one of these small ones, see what design I might like. I think I might like that pattern. Right, I use makeup sponges for my stenciling. I want to get brushes one day. One day in the future. Right, what colour do I want to stencil? Could go green to match there. Not that I'm about matchy, but just to perhaps tie it in a little bit. You see these sponges, I use these ones just for stenciling. And then I've got the teardrop ones that I use for distressing and things. So these are not ideal, these types of sponges, because they do tend to leave lines, but they'll do until I can get myself a set of makeup brushes for stenciling, which I know give a much better result and softer, more even. Although I do quite like doing uneven stenciling too. I think that can add interest and texture in itself. And this is still means like you can write on this as well, over the stenciling and in between the music lines. Probably don't need to do down here because it will be covered by the tuck spot, but that's okay. And sometimes I like going in and doing a second colour over top, but I'm not going to do that in this case. I think one layer will be quite sufficient. There we go, and I'll clean that off in a little bit. Just to give a little bit of texture in the background. Right, and put some glue, some tacky glue on that, and I'm going to go try and work out, sort of giving it a corner so that whatever I put in tucks into a corner, like so. So just gluing on two sides. Hopefully I've put it down straight, otherwise things will be tucked in at an angle. Right, and now I need something to tuck into that pocket. Right, so I've got this offcut of printable here that just I looked up and there it was. So I am going to just fold that in half. It's just a strip from creating a page. Fold that in half, round the corners. And I'm just going to distress it because it's a very pale print. Good background page. Distress on the other side too, just because that makes it feel like it's complete in my head. Doing one side, unless you're gluing it down, just doesn't feel like it's completely done for me. Right, so that will tuck. I'm not going to push it right down because of the glue's still possibly a little bit dry. And maybe I'll use this Maori Warrior that we had out. That could be quite fun. So they've flown from Great Britain across to New Zealand. How's that? Creating a little story within the pages. So just giving him corner rounding treatment. I'm sure he won't mind. Won't hurt him in the slightest. Right, and possibly a little bit of book page in there. Oops, sorry, that was my head knocking the camera or the tripod. Sorry guys. I thought I was doing so well. I'm just going to grab actually I wonder if there's a kiwi. Try JK. If I can find an entry with kiwi, which is the name we call ourselves here in New Zealand. Here we go. Kiwi, a New Zealander. Perfect. So I'm going to, oops, it's not going to tear nicely. It's actually on a string, so I'll take both pages out. I need to cut those strings. I'll do that another day. And I'm going to make sure I grab this bit with kiwi. Interesting that they haven't got kiwi fruit listed there. Very interesting. So it must be older than the term. Oh, kleptomania. Okay, I'm going to tear that straight edge. And tear off the bottom. And then see. Now I need to make sure that I can actually still get the kiwi definition. Yep, that'll work. And if I put him down the bottom a bit more, perfect. Right, back to gluing. It's quite fun when you can match up a bit of book text to the imagery or theme. subtle little detail that I wonder how many people notice when they receive a journal. Sometimes it's impossible to do, but other times. I was searching for a word the other day to try and put in the background, and it wasn't in any of my dictionaries that I used to tear up, which was like, what? I guess that's because they're old dictionaries, so they haven't got modern terminology in them. Right, pop him down there. And then we've just got a simple little journaling card that flips open. Maybe a label. You may have noticed I've got a thing about labels. I never used to put labels on anything, but now I can't get enough of them. Like, I just love using labels. Yep, I'll just pop that down there. And I'm thinking a number as well. So I have got stamped numbers for sale, packs of them for sale on Etsy, of this sort of type, all sorts of shapes and sizes. And some of them that came out not that great, I put in my pottle of stamp numbers to use, like this one, the label went off the page. And so I thought, well, I'll use it because I don't mind. I wouldn't include this, you know, if somebody was paying for labels. But it's still quite usable just by putting it up against the edge of a page or against the edge of an image. Or putting something over top of it to cover it. So I'm going to put it against the edge of the page or the edge of the journal card. So I love using numbers as well. Super fun. Oops, that kind of covers his head. Don't want it over the... Oh, maybe it's the wrong one after all that. What about this one? This one's smaller. And it's already fussy cut. Yep, let's go with that one. Sorry, reaching across under the camera. It's just, there's not much over there because I'm trying to work to the right of the camera. So it was like a spare gap for me to just pop the labels down and things. Right. There we go. I'm calling that one done. And that should be nice and dry now. So I'm going to tuck it in, tucked away there in that tuck spot. Cool, another one done. Super happy getting through these. So this is the, I'll put today's date on it because it's the day that I've done it. And that is day 19, which brings us up to today's date, today's prompt, which is black and white. But I think this video is probably long enough. I don't want to risk it not being able to stitch two parts together, which I can't do if it's at 50 minutes or longer. So I think I'll call it quits there. I'm hoping to do another video today on the Traveller's Notebook Journal, which I might not post up until tomorrow. I'm thinking about having a day out, which could be good for me, maybe, we'll see. Or I might do another video tomorrow as well. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the little look through and hope you did a little crafting with me or were doing something creative as you watched and listened. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.